Since the 70s, the mid-engine supercar culture took over the mindset because when you think Italian, you think of the low-slung shape, mid-engine layout supercars. It's like the definition of fast in the mind, and when you think of Ferrari, you think of icons like the F40 and the Enzo. As beautiful as they are though, Ferrari's design language hasn't seen something elegant in quite a long while. The origins of Ferrari has always been about the creation of GT cars or berlinettas that have sort of brought the style, elegance and class to the eyes. I'm talking about cars like the 250 GT short wheelbase, the 365 Daytona, 550 Maranello, and even as late as the F12 Berlinetta. These were absolutely beautiful cars, and Ferrari has always been in the Berlinetta business since day one and sort of empowered Enzo to continue racing. But when we think of Ferrari today as a brand, we think of the low-slung mid-engine supercar layout, which has been stuck into the minds of most people to the Prancing Horse brand. But deep inside me, my appreciation for the brand had always been with the Berlinettas. This is the Ferrari Roma, and as you can see on the outlook, it doesn't exactly quite look like your typical Ferrari. And if I'm honest, I think that might not be a bad thing at all. For those who are up there, not exactly everybody likes the attention. There are people out there who wants the Ferrari experience minus all the shoutiness, and I think this is where the Roma comes in. You see, Ferrari themselves are targeting a whole new caliber of customers with this car. 70% of the Roma customers, Maranello says, are completely new to the brand and not the kind of guys who are cars like Aston Martin or Bentley Continental GT. Those who are into more elegant outlook. It's completely fresh, completely new, with smooth lines and sort of brings back the elegance of what people loved about Ferrari back in the 60s. And I feel it might just work better on Tour de France Blue or Argento Nürburgring rather than Rosso Corsa. Some may say that the Roma might look like an Aston Martin, but in its own defense, I think maybe that's not such a bad thing at all. And because the Roma is different to all the other Ferraris that we used to, perhaps that might just make it an instant modern classic. The Roma marks a new age for Ferrari, a more sedate, luxurious yet seductive interpretation of an Italian sports car. It's revolutionary in its own right, and I can understand why Ferrari is targeting new customers, because the market is ever growing. And for the Roma, well, it's an invitation to the Ferrari experience. So of course, this is where the charm of the Prancing Horse comes to life, because when you're right out on the open road and really exploring the car's true potential, you see, despite the Roma's GT credentials, in no way is it soft. Ferraris, especially the mid-engine ones, they can be very dialed in on the wheel, and sometimes it might be too much for you to handle. That's actually how the Manettino switch that you have right here on the steering wheel comes to life. So there are 5 settings. You have between wet, comfort, sport and race, and of course ESC off if you want to have the system completely off. But to have race mode on this thing, in fact the Roma is the first GT Berlinetta Ferrari to have race mode, I don't actually quite want it. So for today, probably I'll just click it over to orange, which is sport, and sort of enjoy the car a little bit more. See, Ferrari sometimes can be a little bit too dialed in. Cars like the 4.8 Pista or the F8 Tributo, the mid-engine cars, they are very dialed in. And the GT cars, I'm kind of appreciating the fact that this Roma is taking a step back a little bit, because it sort of fits the whole Berlinetta GT persona. Let's be honest, the people who buy these cars, they're not wanting to fight lap times in a car like this. They want to enjoy a little bit of performance, that Ferrari experience, and on days like this, just open the taps a little bit and just hear that noise. Something to really appreciate. And the gearbox is really quick. The Roma's GT credentials means that delivering the ease of performance is very important for the kind of people who are going to be behind the wheel of a Roma, the people who can afford to buy these cars. The way that they want to enjoy these cars are very different. The thing that I like about the Roma is it's easy to drive. It's very approachable in terms of the handling and the performance. Yes, the throttle response is still very lively, just a Ferrari thing, but just switch around within the modes and you can sort of attune yourself to it, attune yourself to the driving style of this car. The whole GT persona works for those who want to enjoy a car every day and on special occasions to distances away from the daily hustle. The whole interior design of the Roma is utterly beautiful, in a mix of Italian leather and digital screens to enjoy hours and miles with ease. It's an absolutely beautiful place to spend your time in. But I have to admit, those touch-sensitive buttons, I'm not a fan. Now, while you're enjoying that content, I just want to take your attention away and show you guys this right here inside the Roma's very practical glove box. Check this out, alright? This is our new NE harness lanyard. It's actually inspired by a 4-point harness, and it's pretty cool, I think, because car guys would really adore and love something like this. If you're interested to get one of these, you can head over to our e-store, which is NoEqual.store. Now, while you're logged on to our e-store, you can also check out other merchandises that we have available on sale. And if you're interested to get our stickers, you can also DM us on Instagram. So let's get back to the content. I adore Berlinetta Ferraris. I think they're the essence of what the brand brings. Elegance in performance, and of course, Berlinetta will always root back to the origins of the Prancing Horse brand. And that alone, I think, is what's perfect about this thing. But of course, it coming in this day and age, it begs the question, is it still a Ferrari? Well, of course it is. In many ways, it still has the essence and the aggression of that prancing horse, just covered in this beautiful and elegant design. In terms of the way the whole package ties in, I think it's really great at what it does. But if I'm honest, I'm not totally sold by it just yet. I think it lacks a little bit of soul, but I'm pretty sure at some point, Ferrari is going to come up with like a handling pack or something just to make this a little bit more dirty, a little bit more tauter. Maybe that's just for me, but for most of the people who wants to buy this thing, I think it will deliver exactly what you want out of a GT car. But for those who are looking for a daily usable Grand Tourer, this, I think, would sit really right up there with the really great GT cars of today.